we're going to make this little guy, which is called an axle to pin. You can see a bunch of different versions of it up here. Same thing, different colors. But basically, you've got an axle on one side, and then you've got the little plus sign looking pin on the other side. So to get going, I'm going to make the axle side first, and I'm going to simplify it a little bit. You'll see they put a slot in here, and they put a little lip on the end. That's so it can flex as it's getting actually inserted into another Lego piece and then pop up on the other side so it locks in. We're not going to bother. So I'm going to do 3/16 on the outside, 2/16 on the inside, obviously two different circles here. And we're going to go ahead and give this a single Lego width, which we all know now is 5/16. Okay, and we're going to call that half of the thing right there. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and throw another sketch right on this face, and we're going to have crisscrossing rectangles like so. And we can dimension these guys. They're going to be 1/16 wide and 3/16 long. So I'm going to go ahead and say 1/16 for the width of that guy and 1/16 for the width of that guy. And I could do 3/16 and 3/16. But another way, since this outer circle is already 3/16, I'm going to just go to add relation. And I'm going to say, hey, that outer circle and that top edge, not the dimension, the outer circle and the top edge should be tangent to one another. And if I now tell that edge and that outer circle to also be tangent, that should lock it just about where I want it. Now you can see it's not totally locked, it's blue. So we are going to go ahead, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to here. I'm going to tell those two to be tangent, and I'm going to tell that guy to there to be tangent also. And then just to make sure it's perfect, I'm going to go, it's saying it's fully constrained. Okay, now it doesn't look totally centered to me. So I'm going to do a few more dimensions just to make sure it is. I'm going to tell this dimension to here, that needs to be exactly 1/16 away. And if I do that, you're going to see that that middle rectangle just turned black. It is fully locked into place. And I'm going to tell this guy and this guy to also be 1/16 away from each other. And it just turned black, which means it's fully constrained also. So at this point, we can go ahead and move forward with our extrusion of that plus sign. And we're going to want to go ahead and select all the different areas of this little buddy, right? Because it's going to be a solid plus sign. And so the only things we don't need to select are the outside, what is outside of the circle. And that's going to give it a nice rounded effect, which you'll notice the plus sign looks nice and it's rounded like that. We didn't even have to do it. We just selectively did not choose those outside corners that are outside of the circle. Okay, and we'll make sure it's 5/16, which it is, and we'll say okay. And we end up with a piece like that. Now, what you'll notice about the actual piece, it also has a ring in the middle, and it's small, probably somewhere in the ballpark of 1/32, but we'll do it and we'll see what looks good. So let's go ahead and start one more sketch. I'm going to put it right on this face because I know that face is right in the middle of this part. So if I click there, it put the sketch on that middle face. Even though I'm looking at this side, I'm actually sketching on that middle face. And I'm going to take that little circle, lock it to the middle here. It's going to be a little bit bigger than the whole thing. And since that inner circle was 3/16, this guy is probably going to be something like 4/16, just ever so slightly bigger. And you'll see it is actually in the middle. Now, when we go to extrude it, we're not going to want it to go just one way or the other. So we'll choose the option that is mid-plane, where it extrudes it evenly both ways. But like I said, we don't want a very big extrusion. So let's take a look at 1/32. That's a nice little ring. And if I compare that to what we see here, it's about the same. So let's go ahead and accept that guy. And that is our ring that joins the two together. And we're going to say that for an axle to pin, that we're pretty happy with that.